Hi, my name is Bethany Laster, and I'm in Miss Vaughn's Exceptional Children class. And today I will be talking about the sites that I done my observations at. The first site that I done my observation at was Westside Greers Ferry. At Greers Ferry, I observed in a kindergarten classroom, a first grade classroom, and a second grade classroom. The kindergarten classroom teacher was Miss Hip. The first grade classroom was Miss Davidson, and the second grade class was Miss Shaw. The second place that I done my observations was at Heber Springs Elementary. I done a third grade special education classroom, the teacher Miss Bishop, and I also done a fourth grade self-contained classroom whose teacher was Miss Yielding. The third place that I done my observation was at Mountain View, Arkansas. My first observation was in a fifth grade special education classroom with the teacher Miss Gillihan. I also done an observation in a sixth grade self-contained whose teacher was Miss White, and I also done an observation in a fifth and sixth grade gifted and talented classroom with Miss Hughes. The last place I done an observation was at Pathfinders in Jacksonville, Arkansas with Miss Johnson. In the kindergarten classroom, one of the main things that I really enjoyed with Miss Hip was that she brought up the students every Monday and done one-on-one testing over the week before vocab words to make sure that they hadn't just learned the vocab words for that week, that they actually knew the words instead of just learning them for the test. One thing that I would not like to do in my classroom that I noticed was done a lot in Miss Hip's classroom was working with the buddy. I really like working with students working with each other, but sometimes I feel that it becomes more of cheating and one student does all the work versus the other one. In the first grade classroom with Miss Davidson, I really loved that she done yoga before she started her lessons with the students. I really felt like this helped the students prepare for the lesson, get their minds cleared, and then they were ready to learn. One thing in the second grade classroom at Greers Ferry is the students switch classes, and I personally feel like they're too young to be switching classes, that they're not ready to be adults. I feel like it should be more upper level grade switching classes than lower levels. In the second grade classroom, I really loved every morning she done a math board worksheet. On this worksheet it would have 5 questions on math, and it was kind of like a bell ringer except it lasted longer. And while the students were working on this, it gave her time to call up different students and work with them if they had any questions. The only thing I would, if I was the teacher, I would give points for students doing the math board. I wouldn't just give it to them for something to do. I would actually use it as a grade. At Heber Springs School, in the third grade special education room with Miss Bishop, I really loved her money idea. She had what she called her bank, and every time the students or a student would get an answer right, she would give them money. Or if a student done something without being told multiple times, she would give them money. Or if a student was just being exceptionally quiet, she would give them money. And after a while, they would get up so much money and they could cash their coins in for actually like dollar bills, $5, $20, and at the end, they could actually buy something out of a treasure box. One thing I noticed about the special education classroom at Heber was it seemed to be an overflow. I felt like there was too many students for one teacher. She did diverse her attention to each student equally, but I felt like she needed more time with them to work with them. Even though she did, I felt like she could have done more if there would have been less children in the classroom. In the 4th grade self-contained classroom at Heber Springs, I really enjoyed their circle time. In the mornings, instead of it all being on the board, it was all multimedia because that attracted the students' attention better than a poster on the board or something like that. However, I feel like in the classroom they should have done more activities versus just letting the students roam around and just walking and stuff. I feel like if there would have been more activities, the students would have been more engaged. In Mountain View's observation in the 5th grade special education classroom with Miss Gallahan, I really liked the idea of her giving the students their worksheet back to let them see, hey, I got this wrong, I done this wrong, and how she worked with them to show them exactly what they done wrong and let them fix the problem. Then, after they done that, they got to turn in their paper, and she regraded it and gave them extra credit for looking back over their paper. However, in that classroom, I feel like the students spent more time working on the computer than they actually did with the teacher up there teaching. I felt like the computers were more of their teachers than actually the teacher, which I feel like computers are a great idea and it's a great review, and that may have been what she was doing that day, was a review. I'm not exactly sure, but I really felt like there could have been more teacher and student time. In the 6th grade self-contained classroom at Mountain View, it probably was one of my favorite observations. It was a great experience getting to see what these students done. She would take several of the students, the 6th grade students, into the teacher's lounge and let them clean the entire lounge. That way they could work on their life skills, and for when they got older and they graduated, they would already have started in the 6th grade, so they would know once they graduated and got their own apartments what to do and how to clean. There was honestly not one thing that she done that I wouldn't do. It was just a wonderful experience. In the 5th grade and 6th grade gifted and talented class, I really loved how the teacher encouraged the students to have open minds and to look beyond just the moon and the stars, reach higher and further. However, I feel like the students needed more structure. I felt like they just kind of came in and done their own little thing. I feel like there could have been more activities, more learning time, or that's how I would do it if I was the teacher. My last observation was also one of my favorites, was in the pre-K at Pathfinders. I didn't get to be in the classroom when they actually done their circle time, their lesson time, but I was able to be there for their arts and crafts, and I really liked how they included the students' arts and crafts and put them on the wall or hung them from the ceiling. It was a great thing for the students to be able to walk into the classroom and point and say, hey, I made that. There was also in that classroom, I don't feel like I would change anything as if I was the teacher. Overall, I had a wonderful time doing observations, and I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait till I become a teacher one day.